strength. We've got a little bit of a standing yoga warm up, and then we're going to take it down onto the mat for 3 moves, advanced core. I will show options. I'm a physical therapist as well as a strength coach, yogi. So I'm always going to give you guys some cueing, being mindful of your body. Just listen to your body, modify as needed. Let's focus on some nice strength and a little bit of mobility. We're going to start off in standing. We'll take it down onto the mat, finish with some stretching. That's it, 30 minutes. Let's go. Weights are optional, always optional. So if you've got some weights, you can bring them. Not needed, optional. All right, so let's come to the back of our mat, and we're gonna start off with a little yoga warm-up. I always kind of start off class with this nice little vinyasa warm-up just to get the body moving. Then we'll take it down onto the mat. Got some advanced core stuff today. I will walk you through that. Bring your arms up to the sky, reach, lengthen, extend through the spine. Just start off with this nice, easy yoga warm-up, just getting our bodies nice and warmed up. Nothing crazy, nothing crazy. Exhale, forward fold, bring the arms all the way down, shake it out, release any tension. Just using this kind of yoga sequence to check in with our body, see how everything's feeling. Knees are nice and soft here. Just releasing tension, last breath. On your next inhale, halfway lift, flat back, straighten out the knees. Get a nice little hamstring stretch here. I host a live class every week. Subscribe to the channel to get notifications of live class. Hold it here, brace with your abs, tuck the chin in. Last breath. Hands come down, step back into plank. Hold it here. We do have some planks today in our core sequence, so if you need to modify, I will show you options. Just giving you heads up. Last breath here. Exhale, knees down, slowly lower chaturanga, elbows close to your sides, uncurl your toes. Push yourself up into this little baby back bend. Nice spine extension. Pull the shoulder blades down your back. Hold it here. Open the chest. This should feel nice on that lower back, like a nice little stretch, nothing pinchy, nothing sore. Exhale, back down. Uncurl your toes. Push yourself back, downward facing dog. Stretch out those calves, those ankles. Pedal the feet. Drive that booty up high to the sky. Spread your fingers wide. Push away from the mat into this downward dog. We're going to go through this whole sequence 2 more times. We're going to speed it up. We've got lots to cover in a short amount of time. Pedal those feet, some nice ankle mobility. Again, mobility, we want supple joints and strong muscles. We want both, right? This class is for you if you need just a little bit more core strength and maybe a little bit more flexibility, mobility in your life. Rolling up slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time, head coming up last. Inhale, reach, round 2. Exhale, forward fold, bring the arms all the way down, shake it out, release any tension. Again, just getting things moving. Before our core sequence, inhale, halfway lift, flat back. This is your hip hinge. Right here, your deadlift, your hinge. Hinge at the hips, brace with my abs. Hold 1 breath. Hands come down, plank. I did say we have planks coming up later. Right? Nice upper body strength. We want to always add in a little bit of upper body to our core. That is a part of your core as well. Tuck the chin in, hold it here, 1 breath. Exhale, lower knees down or all the way down. Work your shoulders. Elbows are in close to my sides, coming up into that cobra. Maybe you come all the way up into this up dog, if this feels nice. Pull the shoulder blades down your back. Enjoy this extension of the spine. How much of our day are we flexed over everything, right? Enjoy some extension. Your spine needs to move in all directions. Open up the chest. Brace with your abs a little bit here so you're not just pinching that lower back. Open up the chest. Exhale, back down. Push yourself back, downward facing dog. We've got 1 more round like this, and then we are moving on. We're going to do a little bit of a squat in our warm-up. So if you have the weights, you can use them. If not, that's okay. We're just going to do chair pose, right? So your chair pose is your squat. So get a little bit of glutes, a little bit of hip strength in to finish off our warm-up. Walk your hands back to your feet. Let's go through this flow 1 more time, rolling up 1 vertebrae at a time. Articulate through your spine. That means moving through all the vertebrae. Healthy spine needs to be supple. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hinging. Hands come down, plank. Shoulders. Abs. Bracing. Exhale, lower. Work those shoulders. Up dog or cobra, last time, get some extension. What a beautiful sequence, right? You get all these little things in this vinyasa warm-up. A little bit of back, a little bit of hips, a little bit of ankles, a little bit of shoulder strength, a little bit of core strength. All right, let's move on done with that. So we're gonna come into our chair pose. Again, chair pose is your squat. So if you've got weights, this is like a 10-pounder, grab them. Walk your hands back to your feet. Come to the middle of your mat. If you have weights, great. If not, not a big deal. So again, like I said, chair pose is our squat. If you've got one weight, you can hold it at your heart center, like this goblet squat. So right here, I'm gonna take a nice wide stance. I always tell people, give your hips some room, right? So if you get the tight hips, you don't need to be here. Give yourself a little bit of space. You might even want to have the feet turned out a little bit. So we're going to start from the ground up, feet. Rooting your feet into the ground. Draw the arches up. That's going to pull those knees out. That's going to engage that booty, right? If you've got your weights, they're going to be here. I'm just going to sink back into my squat. And if you don't have the weights, totally fine. You should bring your arms overhead, weight sitting back into my chair pose. We're going to add on to this. Tap down and up. Again, if you don't have the weights, not a big deal. This is still your back body weight squat. I want you to focus on here, bracing with my abs. I like to say flat back position. It's really neutral though. And what I mean is I don't want this. I want this, right? Weighting into my heels. So I'm sinking back into my heels. Whether you're doing your chair pose, a little dynamic chair pose like this, whether you've got your two weights at your sides, whether you've got your weight here, close to my body, or my goblet squat style, I want your weight into your heels. Again, we're using this as our warm-up, finishing up, but still, let's get a little bit of strength in here. Glutes, hips, sink back into the squat. My toes are still pressed down, so I'm not rolling onto my toes. That's a common error I see with a lot of my athletes, right? We're sinking back into our squat, but we want to stay connected. Big toe, pinky toe, heel. And then you go as low as you feel comfortable, right? Everyone's depth, everyone's squat is going to be different based on your flexibility. So I'm starting from the ground up, rooting the feet into the ground, drawing the arches up. That's going to help pull my knees out. It can help engage my glutes. And then I'm going to sink back into my squat as low as I can comfortably, and while maintaining that nice flat back or neutral spine position. Let's just do a few more here. Again, nothing crazy, just getting a little squatty, little hips activated, finishing off our warm-up. And then we're gonna be on the mat for the rest of class for core. 4 more here, whichever version you're picking. If you have the weights, we will use them for our core series. Again, totally optional. 2 more. Sink lower if you can. Last one, not rounding the back, nice flat back. Beautiful. All right, done with that. Done with that. That was our squats for the day. Again, core is more than just your abs, right? We want our glutes, we want our upper body, we want our diaphragm, we want everything that's a part of our core. Let's finish off our warm-up with a little bit of cat-cow, just to get that last little bit of mobility in the spine. Everybody likes cat-cow. I do, one of my favorites. Easy, nice move that almost everybody, no matter what's going on, can kind of do a good cat-cow, right? Pretty simple. Exhale, use the rib cage. Inhale. We're gonna get into a little bit of rotation and oblique work with our core series today. So I really want you to think about using your core. These strengthening exercises, yes, we're getting some strength, but we're also getting some flexibility, some mobility in the spine and hips, right? So we really want to move through this full range. Not just the strength, it's the mobility. Arching, both directions. 2 more just like this. Inhale. Exhale 1 more time. And then we're going to come into that core series. Now, if you've got weights, grab them. Nothing crazy. Our first move is our Russian twist, one of my favorites. Weights are not needed. Up to you. If you got them, grab them. Here. Seated for our first exercise, then we're going to be on our back for our other moves. Starting here from this nice flat back position, I like to grab behind here, lean back, find the little sit bones. This is your balance point. If you don't have weights, if you've got the weights, you're just going to come into your nice Russian twist. Again, when I'm saying that mobility, what I really want you to focus on is, again, we're rotating, we're activating, we're getting some oblique engagement. I also want you to get some nice rotation really rotate, get that back rotating, moving, right? This is a good chance to open up your back by adding some rotation in. Now, if you don't have the weights, that's also okay, and you have other options to make this more challenging. So you can elevate the legs, hovering, a little bit more of a balanced challenge, right? So still gonna work your core. Both of these are working your core. They're just different. Again, if you've got the weights, really focus on some nice rotation, meaning I'm not coming just like here, and I'm not rounding into my lower back. I'm sitting up nice and tall, and I'm really going to that full range, going as far across the body as you can, right? So we've got our Russian twists, a little bit of obliques, got even more obliques coming up next, and then our last move is going to be a little bit of that lower abdominal work. So a little bit of everything today, kind of hitting the obliques hard, just felt like it today, right? You might feel a little bit sore after class today. Let's do a few more here. We've got 3 moves, 3 rounds. That's it. And then we stretch. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Weights at your sides, on your back, ankle grabs. That is obliques as well. A little bit easier to set up. You have options here. On the exhale, I'm gonna reach for the outside ankle. Now, if your neck is getting a little fatigued, you can have the hands here. Or if you want something different that's still targeting obliques, you can always come into some bicycles, right? Got options. I personally love these right here because it's kind of hard to mess up and it's instant. You know you're hitting obliques. It's hard to mess it up. You're definitely going to hone in on those oblique muscles, those muscles that go across here, right? Pretty key muscle group. We're driving power across the body when we engage those obliques, whether you're running, biking, walking, whatever, right? So it's nice to get some of that core connection side to side with that oblique strength. Working our obliques. So we've got Russian twist, we've got a little bit of these ankle grabs, and we've got a little bit of a lower abdominal exercise. Weights are optional for that last one as well. And if you want to do your bicycles here, you could also do that as well. Breathing, tucking the chin in. Again, I'm working my neck muscles here. I'm not straining my neck, tucking my chin in. Again, you can have your hands behind the head as well. Pushing the head back into the hands is often another way to kind of stabilize that neck. Let's do a few more here. Then we've got our last move. Let's do 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. Last move here, legs are gonna lower and come back up. Now again, weights, you don't need the weights. In many ways, I will say that having the weight here as the legs flutter makes it easier in some ways. Gives you something to hold on to stabilize. Now, as the legs get away from you, I want you to think about, so deep abdominal control, lower abdominals, you're gonna feel it as the legs go down. I want that lower back to be pressed down the whole time. That is what makes this a challenging move, is that as you get lower, you're gonna feel how your back wants to lift. Do not let it do that. I cannot tell you the number of times as a physical therapist, I get people telling me their lower back hurts from doing core work. That is not the goal. You could have your hands further behind you to make it even harder. Really want to torture yourself? You can also just have them here, right? And again, if you don't have the weights, you don't need them at all. Arms can be wherever. Or if you're having a hard time stabilizing here, try lifting the head up, try having the hands behind the head. You're just gonna go down and back up. So this last move is a little spicy, right? A little spicy. You really have to pay attention here. My other cue is think about bringing that rib cage down, lifting the head up to connect to the pelvis, right? If you can connect here, you're gonna keep that lower back pressed down. Again, lower back needs to stay pressed down. the whole time. Otherwise, you are going to strain your lower back, and that is not the point of these exercises. So if you're ever doing any of these core exercises and your back is hurting afterwards, that's not it. It's not good. So options is you don't go as low, right? So maybe you just kind of stop the legs here. You start to feel your back lift, and if you can't maintain it, then that's it. You stop, right? Everyone's different. And some of us have a heavier leg, right? If you've got a more muscular leg than me, that's gonna be even harder for you to control, right? So just listen to your body. That's all I'm saying. Let's do 2 more. And then we're gonna come back into that Russian twist. 1 more. All right, pull yourself back up into seated, back at it. We're not taking breaks. Let's go back into our Russian twist. Find that position first. So in other words, I'm always setting up for my Russian twist with this upright posture. Lats are engaged, squeezing the shoulder blades down my back, finding that sit bone, that nice sweet spot where I'm sitting. I'm not sitting on my tailbone. And then from there, then I go into it, right? And I'm focusing on, for this exercise,